Hello, and welcome back yet again to Storytime, Banned Books, Read With Me. I'm Kathleen Francis, and I've returned to continue our read of this particular part of our story. Chapter 16. The ceremony goes as usual. I lie on my back, fully clothed, except for the healthy white cotton underdrawers. What I could see, if I were to open my eyes, would be the large white canopy of Serena Joy's outsized, colonial-style four-poster bed, suspended like a sagging cloud above us, a cloud sprigged with tiny drops of silver rain, which, if you looked at them closely, would turn out to be four-petaled flowers. I would not see the carpet, which is white, or the sprigged curtains and skirted dressing table with its silver-backed brush and mirror set, only the canopy, which manages to suggest at one and the same time, by the gauziness of its fabric and its heavy downward curve, both ethereality and matter. Or the sail of a ship, big-bellied sails, they used to say, in poems, bellying, propelled forward by a swollen belly. A mist of lily-of-the-valley surrounds us, chilly, crisp almost. It's not warm in this room. Above me, towards the head of the bed, Serena Joy is arranged, outspread. Her legs are apart. I lie between them, my head on her stomach, her pubic bone under the base of my skull, her thighs on either side of me. She, too, is fully clothed. My arms are raised. She holds my hands, each of mine in each of hers. This is supposed to signify that we are one flesh, one being. What it really means is that she is in control of the process and thus of the product, if any. The rings of her left hand cut into my fingers. It may or may not be revenge. My red skirt is hitched up to my waist, though no higher. Below it, the commander is fucking. What he is fucking is the lower part of my body. I do not say making love, because this is not what he's doing. Copulating, too, would be inaccurate, because it would imply two people, and only one is involved. Nor does rape cover it. Nothing is going on here that I haven't signed up for. There wasn't a lot of choice, but there was some, and this is what I chose. Therefore, I lie still and picture the unseen canopy over my head. I remember Queen Victoria's advice to her daughter: close your eyes and think of England. But this is not England. I wish he would hurry up. Maybe I'm crazy, and this is some new kind of therapy. I wish it were true. Then I could get better and this would go away. Serena Joy grips my hands, as if it is she, not I, who's being fucked. As if she finds it either pleasurable or painful, and the commander fucks, with a regular 2/4 marching stroke, on and on like a tap dripping. He is preoccupied, like a man humming to himself in the shower without knowing he's humming, like a man who has other things on his mind. It's as if he's somewhere else, waiting for himself to come, drumming his fingers on the table while he waits. There's an impatience in his rhythm now. But isn't this everyone's wet dream? Two women at once? They used to say that. Exciting, they used to say. What's going on in this room, under Serena Joy's silvery canopy, is not exciting. It has nothing to do with passion or love or romance or any of those other notions we used to titillate ourselves with. It has nothing to do with sexual desire, at least for me, and certainly not for Serena. Arousal and orgasm are no longer thought necessary. They would be a symptom of frivolity merely, like jazz garters or beauty spots. Superfluous distractions for the light-minded, outdated. It seems odd that women once spent such time and energy reading about such things, thinking about them, worrying about them, writing about them. They are so obviously recreational. This is not recreation, even for the commander. This is serious business. The commander, too, is doing his duty. If I were going to open my eyes a slit, I would be able to see him, his not unpleasant face hanging over my torso, with a few strands of his silver hair falling perhaps over his forehead, intent on his inner journey, that place he is hurrying towards, which recedes as if in a dream at the same speed with which he approaches it. I would see his open eyes. If he were better looking, would I enjoy this more? At least he's an improvement on the previous one, who smelled like a church cloakroom in the rain, like your mouth when the dentist starts picking at your teeth, like a nostril. The commander, instead, smells of mothballs. Or is this odor some punitive form of aftershave? Why does he have to wear that stupid uniform? But would I like his white, tufted, raw body any better? Kissing is forbidden between us. That makes it bearable. One detaches oneself, one describes. He comes at last, with a stifled groan as of relief. Serena Joy, who has been holding her breath, expels it. The commander, who has been propping himself on his elbows, away from our combined bodies, doesn't permit himself to sink down into us. He rests a moment, withdraws, recedes, rezippers. He nods, then turns and leaves the room, closing the door with exaggerated care behind him, as if both of us are his ailing mother. There's something hilarious about this, but I don't dare laugh. Serena Joy lets go of my hands. "You can get up now," she says. "Get up and get out." She's supposed to have me rest for 10 minutes with my feet on a pillow to improve the chances. This is meant to be a time of silent meditation for her, but she's not in the mood for that. There is loathing in her voice, as if the touch of my flesh sickens and contaminates her. I untangle myself from her body, stand up. The juice of the commander runs down my legs. Before I turn away, I see her straighten her blue skirt, clench her legs together. She continues lying on the bed, gazing up at the canopy above her, stiff and straight as an effigy. Which of us is it worse for, her or me? 17. This is what I do when I'm back in my room. I take off my clothes and put on my nightgown. I look for the pat of butter in the toe of my right shoe, where I hid it after dinner. The cupboard was too warm. The butter is semi-liquid. Much of it has sunk into the paper napkin I wrapped it in. Now I'll have butter in my shoe. Not the first time, because whenever there is butter or even margarine, I save some in this way. I can get most of the butter off the shoe lining with a washcloth or some toilet paper from the bathroom tomorrow. I rub the butter over my face, work it into the skin of my hands. There's no longer any hand lotion or face cream, not for us. Such things are considered vanities. We are containers. It's only the insides of our bodies that are important. The outside can become hard and wrinkled for all they care, like the shell of a nut. This was a decree of the wives. this absence of hand lotion. They don't want us to look attractive. For them, things are bad enough as it is. The butter is a trick I learned at the Rachel and Leah Center. The Red Center, we called it, because there was so much red. My predecessor in this room, my friend with the freckles and the good laugh, must have done this too, this buttering. We all do it. As long as we do this, butter our skin to keep it soft, we believe that we will someday get out, that we will be touched again in love or desire. We have ceremonies of our own, private ones. The butter is greasy, and it will go rancid, and I will smell like an old cheese, but at least it's organic, as they used to say. To such devices we have descended. Buttered, I lie on my single bed, flat, like a piece of toast. I can't sleep. In the semi-dark, I stare up at the blind plaster eye in the middle of the ceiling, which stares back down at me, even though it can't see. There's no breeze. My white curtains are like gauze bandages, hanging limp, glittered in the aura cast by the searchlight that illuminates this house at night. Or is there a moon? I fold back the sheet, get carefully up, on silent bare feet, in my nightgown, go to the window, like a child. I want to see the moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow. The sky is clear, but hard to make out because of the searchlight. But yes, in the obscured sky, a moon does float, newly, a wishing moon, a sliver of ancient rock, a goddess, a wink. The moon is a stone, and the sky is full of deadly hardware, but oh God, how beautiful anyway. I want Luke here so badly. I want to be held and told my name. I want to be valued in ways that I am not. I want to be more than valuable. I repeat my former name, remind myself of what I once could do, how others saw me. I want to steal something. In the hall, the night light's on. The long space glows gently pink. I walk, one foot set carefully down, then the other, without creaking, along the runner, as if on a forest floor, sneaking, my heart quick, through the night house. I am out of place. This is entirely illegal. Down past the fisheye on the hall wall. I can see my white shape of tented body, hair down my back like a mane, my eyes gleaming. I like this. I am doing something on my own. The active. Is it a tense? Tensed. What I would like to steal is a knife from the kitchen, but I'm not ready for that. I reach the sitting room, doors ajar, slip in, leave the door a little open, a squeak of wood, but who's near enough to hear? I stand in the room, letting the pupils of my eyes dilate, like a cat's or owl's. Old perfume, cloth dust, fills my nostrils. There's a slight mist of light coming through the cracks around the closed drapes from the searchlight outside, where two men doubtless patrol. I've seen them from above, from behind my curtains, dark shapes, cutouts. Now I can see outlines, gleams from the mirror, the bases of the lamps, the vases, the sofa looming like a cloud at dusk. What should I take? Something that will not be missed. In the wood at midnight, a magic flower, a withered daffodil, not one from the dried arrangement. The daffodils will soon be thrown out. They're beginning to smell, along with Serena's stale fumes, the stench of her knitting. I grope, find an end table, feel. There's a clink. I must have knocked something. I find the daffodils, crisp at the edges where they've dried, limp toward the stems. Use my fingers to pinch. I will press this somewhere. Under the mattress. Leave it there for the next woman, the one who comes after me, to find. But there's someone in the room, behind me. I hear the step, quick as mine. The creaking of the same floorboard. The door closes behind me with a little click, cutting the light. I freeze. White was a mistake. I'm snow in the moonlight, even in the dark. Then a whisper. Don't scream. It's all right. As if I'd scream. As if it's all right. I turn. A shape, that's all. Dull glint of cheekbone, devoid of color. He steps towards me. Nick. What are you doing in here? I don't answer. He, too, is illegal here with me. He can't give me away, nor I him. For the moment, we're mirrors. He puts his hand on my arm, pulls me against him, his mouth on mine. What else comes from such denial? Without a word, both of us are shaking. How I'd like to. In Serena's parlor, with the dried flowers, on the Chinese carpet, his thin body. A man entirely unknown. It would be like shouting. It would be like shooting someone. My hand goes down. How about that? I could unbutton, and then... But it's too dangerous. He knows it. We push each other away. Not far. Too much trust. Too much risk. Too much already. I was coming to find you, he says. Breathes almost into my ear. I want to reach up, taste his skin. He makes me hungry. His fingers move, feeling my arm under the nightgown sleeve, as if his hand won't listen to reason. It's so good to be touched by someone, to be felt so greedily, to feel so greedy. Luke, you'd know, you'd understand. It's you here, in another body. Bullshit. Why? I say. Is it so bad for him that he'd take a risk of coming to my room at night? I think of the hanged men, hooked on the wall. I can hardly stand up. I have to get away. Back to the stairs, before I dissolve entirely. His hands on my shoulder now, held still heavy, pressing down on me like warm lead. Is this what I would die for? I'm a coward. I hate the thought of pain. He told me to, Nick says. He wants to see you in his office. What do you mean? I say. The commander, it must be. See me? What does he mean by see? Hasn't he had enough of me? Tomorrow, he says, just audible. In the dark parlor, we move away from each other, slowly, as if pulled towards each other by a force, current, pulled apart also by hands equally strong. I find the door, turn the knob, fingers on cool porcelain, open. It's all I can do. Once again, I thank you for joining me.